when the best go up against the best, they're going to play high-end poker.
There really is no tougher field than the PCA Super High Roller.
Oh boy, I had a lot of outs.
They're forced to focus.
It's extremely high level.
It's the best poker players in the world. The challenge is just amazing.
To be the best, you have to beat the best.
The level of play is so far beyond anything else that you really encounter on a day-to-day basis.
And only one can prevail.
I love pressure. I love adrenaline rushes like that. And this is definitely an adrenaline rush.
We're in the Bahamas for the first event of the 2012 PCA. We started with 30 of the world's best players, with a few wealthy businessmen sprinkled in for good measure. They each ponied up $100,000, generating a prize pool of over $3 million. Right now, 13 players remain, meaning one of poker's elite will have the title and a first prize of over $1.2 million to their already bulging poker resume here at the PokerStars.com Caribbean Adventure Super High Roller. Well, let's remind ourselves of what happened last time. We saw Daniel Negreanu take a big step towards improving his runner-up finish last year.
Come on.
Call. Was that big? He was salivating.
There were some high-profile exits.
Mercier's out. I'm free rolling. Yep.
But it was Isaac Haxton who continued to dominate, as he has done this entire tournament. It's almost a year to the day since online phenomenon Isildur 1 was revealed to be the young Swedish pro Victor Blom. Would this be where he makes his live poker breakthrough? So far, day two's been kind to Kid Poker. He's rocketed into second place on the leaderboard, and second is a position he knows all too well.
Last year, I started off the year, and then within the first week, I was $1 million ahead. And I'm looking forward to, just getting that one spot ahead of last year.
Daniel and his fellow Canadians make up almost a third of the remaining field. Well, he may be the only Latin American representative, but this shark is in familiar waters.
Gamble with Humberto.
And he loves splashing around.
Para mí ganar este evento es realmente seguir en la carrera. Yo creo que no va a ser ni el primero ni último que juegue estos.
Chip leader Isaac Haxton is hoping to steamroll his way to the final table, but the reigning PCA main event champion has other ideas.
I sit down, I look at all the chips in the room, and the tournament ends when somebody wins all the chips, and that's the only thing that really matters.
Is that your Annie?
It's time to get cards in the air once again.
Yeah, I'm just looking around.
Oh, yeah. Wow. Victor's hiding today. Victor, you're hiding today.
Scared.
It's funny that he woke up today with a hoodie and sunglasses after yesterday.
I think a couple people put a lot of fear in him. I think you put a lot of fear in him.
Yeah, when the ace-queen hand he played against.
I think Isaac put a lot of fear in him.
I checked back twice, and he hit the nuts, and he's like, I play so bad. He's mad at himself.
Yeah, I think a lot of people put the fear in him.
Rightfully so.
Man, high school is so cliquey. Oh, wait a second. This is a poker tournament.
On our outer table is the chip leader Isaac Haxton and the subject of Scott and Daniel's conversation, Victor Blom. And then on the TV table, Daniel has the chip lead and Mike McDonald is the current short stack, playing 171,000.
Scott and Daniel have all the chips and they're sitting next to each other, which means they should be pretty chatty.
Blinds 4,000, 8,000 with an ante of 1,000. Will be Jonathan Duhamel first to speak. He folds. Berto Brenes has King Queen suited.
Queen suited so good, it's like having 3 cards.
Yeah.
He raises it to 20K. It's a fold from Sam Stein. And from Mike McDonald. Scott Seaver on the button with King Jack.
Umberto's pretty tight, but I wouldn't expect Scott to fold this in position, even though we know he's dominated.
He calls. Daniel Negreanu folds the small blind. And in the big blind, Eric Seidel will also call.
Eric's getting some decent immediate pot odds.
So three-way to the flop. Deuce, six, deuce with two clubs.
Everybody misses this flop like the deserts miss the rain.
It's been checked to Umberto. And he will c-bet for 32,000.
C-betting with king high, which is actually the best hand.
Scott will call. And Eric will muck.
It's a good thing that Shark can swim because I think Scott Seaver's floating.
Five of clubs on the turn. Gives Scott a flush draw.
Floating's when you call with nothing to try to take it away on a later street, or so I've heard.
Umberto now checks.
Scott's actually got a decent draw now to the jack high flush, and here comes the bet.
76,000.
Umberto really can't call. No pair, no draw. Gotta give Scott credit. He knows Umberto's game all too well.
Oh my God.
A frustrated fold from Umberto.
Aw, sad Shark.
Scott Seaver adds 82,000 to his stack.
Scott knows Umberto's just one of those old school pros who's never gonna hero call down.
Now, if Twitter is your thing, you can follow us and you can tweet about this tournament using the hashtag PCA.
It is, and I do, and I have.
On the outer table, Ike Haxton is facing a 4-bet from Galen Hall.
All in.
And there's a 5-bet shove from the chip leader. Enough to put Galen Hall all in. He quickly folds.
4-bet Instamuck. Love that move.
Haxton now up to 1.7 million.
Like when I was opening, I took a while because like there's almost like a 90% chance I get 3-bet right now. Right? So I was like, I'm definitely getting 3-bet.
Galen Hall currently getting owned by Isaac Haxton. But last year, Galen Hall owned the PCA main event, taking it down for $2.3 million. He says he put the money towards going to Stanford University. Wow, college in America really is expensive.
Last year I won the PCA main event, so it's pretty fun to come back here and walk through the halls and get all those feelings of what that was like, and it certainly gives me a lot of confidence playing in such a tough field, remembering what happened on that stage last year.
Boy, poker's really reached a new era when players are talking about their feelings. Doyle Brunson's never had a feeling in his whole life.
Those are the 10 biggest stacks right now. 13 players remain in the tournament. Remember, our ambition today is to play down to our final 8. Action on the feature table is on Sam Stein. 8-10 of diamonds under the gun. And he's raising 17,000.
Raising under the gun. Let's see if it gets the respect it doesn't deserve.
So far, everyone has mucked. All the way around to Umberto in the big blind. Queen 10.
Umberto is pretty nitty. So Sam's spidey sense should already be tingling.
Umberto makes the call. They see a flop of Queen 6-10. 2 pair for Umberto, 2nd pair for Sam. Umberto's checked to him.
Umberto's playing in flow. Wants Sam to bet for him. Sam's got middle pair, and that's usually more than enough to see a continuation bet.
No, he checks behind.
Maybe trying to keep the pot small.
Sam now picks up a monster draw. Umberto checks again. I don't think Sam will check a second time.
Umberto certainly could have bet there. Looks like he's going to let the whippersnapper do it for him.
Yeah.
Stein makes it 24,000.
Sam's got a lot of equity in this pot with his straight and flush draws. Umberto still with the best hand.
And Umberto has just check raised to 80,000.
Umberto's right to charge Sam to draw. Umberto's image is so tight, it's got to be hard for Sam to think he's ahead, but also I don't see how he can fold. He's got plenty of outs. The 10 is not one of them.
Makes the call. We go to the river. And that's a brick for Sam Stein.
Umberto should feel pretty safe.
Umberto goes for value, 85,000.
Doesn't look like Sam's going to be able to pay him off.
Really? What tells you that?
3 of spades.
The three of spades tells me that. It was a pretty big brick.
Umberto wins the pot.
I had a lot of outs.
Yeah, but the tray of bricks wasn't one of them.
Oh boy.
So Umberto adds 107,000 chips to his stack, but the shark is always hungry for more.
Go and catch him every day. That's what I'm talking about. Every day.
Welcome back to the Bahamas for the 2012 PCA Super High Roller. At the Atlantis Resort, we are surrounded by shark-infested waters. Before the break, Sam Stein found himself in the jaws of Umberto, the Shark Brenes.
El póker siempre ha sido un hobby para mí, esa es la realidad. Yo juego desde que tengo 7, 8 años. Papá jugaba con un grupo de amigos y ahí aprendí. Soy ingeniero industrial, me gradué en la Universidad de Costa Rica, tengo mis propias compañías. Tal vez la fundamental ahora es nueces industriales. Sigo ahora más bien, estoy tratando de empujar a mis hijos, que sean ellos los que vayan cogiendo el manto. Tengo 3 hijos. El mayor se llama, igual que mi, Humberto Brenes. Tiene 22 años. Está estudiando ingeniería industrial. Hoy no puedo venir a este torneo, no está conmigo. Mi segundo hijo es Roberto, es el que me acompaña. Ahí está jugando y está haciéndome barra. Mi tercera hija es una hija, tiene 18 años, ya puede jugar. También le acerco póker, pero cuando una muchacha tiene 18 años está más interesada en que el carro nuevo, en que ir a comprar, en que el novio. Muy contento con mis hijos, muy contento con mi vida familiar, muy contento con mi país. Me siento muy orgulloso de ser costarricense. Por eso siempre me ven la banderita, ando con esto. Yo creo que...
So Umberto owns a nut factory, which probably explains why he only plays them. What I'm saying, James, is he's tight. He plays tight.
Still 13 players remaining. Only 5 will get paid in this Super High Roller event. Action on our feature table has been folded around to Jonathan Duhamel.
The champ is here. The champ is here.
Queen 6 of clubs.
He's here and he must be really bored.
Raising to 17,000.
Umberto's side requires no subtitles.
Ace King on the button for Sam Stein. It's a 3-bet to 43,000. In the small blind, Mike McDonald has 7s.
To call would be about a quarter of Mike's remaining stack, and I'm assuming he won't want to take a flop against more than one opponent.
He shoves. 180,000 total. Scott Seaver has forwarded the big blind. Jonathan Duhamel, yep, you had Queen 6, mate. He mucks. And Sam Stein calls, and we're off to the races.
Ace King, 2 7s, getting it in. This is what professional poker players like to call a 2012 cooler.
I thought I had the Ace King. Does anyone remember?
Even though I like my range.
How much would you pay to
I like
have
my
choice
range,
after
but I'll
the flop?
trade him.
Pardon me?
How much would you pay to have choice after the flop? Like in real cash?
A lot.
Here comes the flop, which gives Stein additional outs.
Jeez. Humberto, who do you want to win? Can I borrow the shark?
All right.
Okay.
That is a fatal flaw right there. Humberto never uses it before he wins. That just cost you right there. That just sealed the deal.
Yeah, you can't premature the shot.
Oh, this might have been a very weak play then. All right, there we go. This sweat's just really unnecessary.
Looks like Mike McDonald's jinxed himself, or maybe not.
Well, that helped you. That helped you a lot.
Yeah, now you can use. Now you can. This is gonna be bad luck. I don't want that.
Timex looking really good right now. If he can dodge a queen, he will double up.
Anyone pull any queens?
Yes, Duhamel did.
I knew I was gonna hit too. It's so sick.
Such a needle.
It's a waste of a pair. That worked. It worked well. That won me.
180.
The other 6 streets I played poorly, but the turn I played good.
Double up for Mike McDonald. Sam Stein down to 165,000.
Let's see what the kids are tweeting. Can you believe there are 88 other Mike McDonalds? That is just sick. 100K to buy in, and you don't even necessarily cash if you make the final table.
A $50 chip, you know.
New blind level. 5,000, 10,000. The ante remains 1,000.
You're like, okay, yeah, $200 chips, yeah, that's totally standard.
Folds.
220 though, 220.
Duhamel picks up 9s.
Jonathan has noof, as his people would say, or as my people say, neeners.
And who exactly are your people?
Me, because I'm the most hilarious guy in my home game.
He's raised to 22,000. Umberto Brenes with 8s.
Good genetics in that family. Look at that head of hair.
Race.
3-bet.
Umberto's got ocho, or as the most hilarious guy in my home game calls them, snowmen. Which, by the way, is also me.
122,000.
I'm dead.
Folded back around to Jonathan.
Even though Umberto only has 8s, I think this is usually a pretty easy fold. This is probably the very rock bottom of his 3-betting range, and he raised too big to just call.
Duhamel lets it go.
Umberto wins it with the ocho.
Thanks for that.
Jonathan, what can you do? He's a neat.
Brenes now playing 462,000.
Roberto's not giving the thumbs up. He's raising just like his dad does.
On the outer table, Isaac Haxton has bet 275,000 on the river. Decision on Victor Blom.
I don't know about you, James, but I think he has to call.
Have you any idea what's been going on in this hand?
Yes, and I know that Ike has to call.
Actions on Victor.
Well, then he should fold.
Who?
Well, look, it's over, and I was right.
Isaac Haxton just keeps on winning. He was the chip leader at the start of the day. He's still the chip leader, playing 1.36 million. But the chasing pack have closed the gap. Scott Seaver and Daniel Negreanu are also playing more than 100 big blinds. If we look at the bottom half of the leaderboard, a couple of players are at risk right now. Eric Seidel playing 13 big blinds, and Will Molson has a stack of just 8 bigs. Well, no real surprise as we head back to the outer table that Will Molson is all in.
Yep.
81,000. Action on David Sands on the button.
If Doc Sands has aces, he should call.
Well, he does just call.
So one way or another, we will see Will's hand.
Victor Blom reshoves from the big blind.
Trying to isolate.
Sands is off for a count.
There's Will Molson's dad. You know he was right up on the glass at all his hockey games.
Sands folds, so let's see the hands. Blom's got 3s.
Sick reshove.
Will Molson with ace-8.
Somewhere at 3, I'm not sure.
It's a flip. So far, so good for the 3s.
Will can make a few backdoor straights.
His immediate outs are aces and 8s. He needs to hit to survive.
Say hello to the queen and goodbye to the straight draws.
Only an ace. Only an 8. Well, we're down to 12 at the super high roller. A 3 gives Blom a set. Will Molson is eliminated.
And if Will's dad's anything like mine, that was his idea of a hug.
Can't have all tonight for dinner.
Meanwhile, Zildur is now 4th on the leaderboard,
Good hand, Vicky B.
playing 795,000.
Are we gotta rearrange, right?
They went pretty well. I came into the day one of the shorter stacks and managed to win a flip against Isildur. And then I managed to get my money in good queens against 9s, but Dan Shack hit a 9 on the flop, so that pretty much crippled me, and yeah, that was pretty much the day. Yeah, it's great having my dad down. Last year he came down for the the high roller event, which I won, and having him there was great, just for support and everything. And he makes me bring out my A game, for sure.
We're gonna keep those chips on the table. Well, we're gonna modify. We're gonna play 8 levels like that, and then after level 9, you take those off.
Back to our feature table.
But the ante's still.
Our action has been folded around to Scott Seaver.
What it'll do, there'll be even more skill because the ratio.
Ace-9 offsuit.
Boy, he and Daniel are just talking a mile a minute.
In my opinion,
Daniel and Eric Seidel are both folded. Jonathan Duhamel in the small blind has jacks.
Actually, James, it's jacques.
Pardon, mon ami. Well, there's a trois bet.
Very nice.
Nice.
Raises 20,000.
just very approximately, how much do you have? Like 3, 4, 5, like even in that range?
350 behind.
Okay.
This would be a pretty loose call with ace-9.
Does make the call.
I guess if Jonathan were going to play almost any hand from the small blind, he'd probably 3-bet with it.
It's a 9 high flop.
Jonathan's in a great spot to continue and bet for value.
Considering his options.
Doesn't work like that?
He makes it 76,000.
I don't see Scott folding.
I'm all in.
He shoves.
I call.
I did not see that coming either. Obviously, Jonathan has to snap. He must have been playing very aggressively at this table for Scott to make that move.
I guess if you're going to play it, you're going to hit that flop. I mean, it's hard to do anything but.
It depends, but...
Duhamel will double up unless there is an ace or a 9 on the river. The outer table, stop playing to watch this hand. There's the double up for Jonathan.
And just like that, Scott Seaver and Jonathan Duhamel have swapped chip positions.
Well, let's not forget, the former world champion has invested $200,000 in this tournament. He busted during the first level on day 1, but was allowed to re-enter. Bill Perkins also entered twice, and busted twice. If you want to play in an EPT event, go to PokerStars.com. There are qualifiers every day. Welcome back to Atlantis for the PokerStars.com Caribbean Adventure. As the sun sets on a beautiful Bahamian evening, we are down to 12 players in the Super High Roller event. And before the break, Jonathan Duhamel took a step closer to the final table.
The Super High Roller, I mean, it's the best poker players in the world. I love it. Everybody loves the challenge to play against all those good players. The money's pretty good, but more than that, just to challenge yourself all the time. I think that's what makes a poker player as good as they can be. For me to go out there and to compete against the best in the industry, and the challenge is just amazing. So that's what I love about it.
In all seriousness, the entire poker world is rooting for Jonathan in this event, who's recently robbed in his home of a substantial amount of cash and his WSOP bracelet. So we're all hoping a little good karma comes Jonathan's way.
Back to the action at our featured table. Isaac Haxton on the outer table, still the chip leader in the tournament. Blind still 5,000, 10,000. Action folded to Daniel Negreanu, who looks down at queens on the button.
Hello there, ladies.
He raises to 22,000. Eric Seidel has ace-jack in the small blind.
And he's got fewer than 25 big blinds. Chip.
Well, that is a virtual all-in from Eric. He's left about 1,000 behind.
Then I'm gonna fold.
I guess this goes as a raise then.
So Daniel puts him all in. And Eric is drawing to an ace.
234, right?
With his tournament on the line.
In case.
Where my hubris go.
Eric was already not in great shape.
Yeah,
We
right.
saw Jonathan fold an ace.
The flop is all clubs.
That's good, right? Yeah, clubs. I was going to say that I had the club.
One ace left.
Oh, you had an ace too?
No. I say one ace left.
not?
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Ace the club. No,
Ace
I know.
finito.
I don't like this. No.
Doesn't look good, does it?
At least for Eric's sake, Jonathan folded the one ace that's no good to him.
And that'll do it. The flush for Negreanu.
All right, good luck, kids.
And the elimination of Eric Seidel. Still #1 on the all-time money list, but he won't be able to extend that lead. Daniel, on the other hand, does still have the opportunity to narrow the gap.
You had an ace? Ace what?
Ace 4.
You didn't have a club, did you?
Yeah, ace.
You had the ace of clubs? Yeah. Wow, he saved me. You're gonna win a decent pot. Make second nuts. I bet the flop. I don't know, you might raise me.
Well, we got some action on the flop.
Yeah, for sure.
Not a good day card-wise, but it's always fun to play these high rollers because of the cast of characters.
I'm happy for me.
Well, that makes one player at the table who's happy for Daniel. He just added another 25 or so big blinds to his stack. Eric Seidel says it's going to take a week or so off. That's how long it's going to take him to recover from sitting next to Daniel.
Let's pick up the action on our outer table. Sam Stein has bet the flop. He's been raised by Isaac Haxton. Sam makes the call. The board reads ace-ace 6-4. Haxton makes it 200,000 on the turn, and Sam Stein quickly mucks.
Sam seems a little frustrated. Sam, poker's a frustrating game. It's okay to be upset. Just don't be upset about being upset, okay?
And more chips for the chip leader. Isaac Haxton closing in on the 2 million mark, cruising towards the final table of this tournament. And of course, he's got previous here in the Bahamas, having finished second in the PCA main event 5 years ago.
It was really great for my career to have such a big finish so early on. I mean, I'd been playing for several years already, but it was pretty much just online cash games, mostly limit hold'em. And yeah, finishing second in the PCA in 2007 really changed my poker career, changed my life.
The PCA has become so big since then that they actually hold it indoors now.
Well, last year's main event winner, Galen Hall, is tangling with Haxton once again. Galen's made it 26,000 from the cutoff. And it looks like Ike's going to 3-bet from the button.
Ike Haxton continues to be all action. I mean, Ike Haxton continues to be all Axton. You know what I'm saying.
Kind of. And there is another frustrated fold from Galen Hall.
Ike's really held over him so far this tournament.
A reminder that only the top 5 get paid in this tournament, with the winner receiving more than $1.2 million. Action on our feature table. It's been folded to Humberto Brenes. King 3 of clubs. He'll pass. Mike McDonald has aces on the button.
Mike's been very active, and his raises haven't been getting a ton of respect at this table.
22,000. Scott Seaver in the small blind has jacks.
This raise is likely to garner some action as well. And with Mike's stack, we're likely to see it get all in.
There's the 3-bet from Seaver, 58,000 total.
My goal is to be the oldest man left.
Maybe we'll see the only man left.
That too.
Well, the rest of the field is pretty much boys. Mike McDonald still has a curfew.
All in.
He shoves.
Call.
Scott Seaver calls.
Snap call.
Jesus.
Aces?
I mean,
That's what we call a cooler.
Mike McDonald had a cooler. Ace, ace, jack, jack, shove.
never won a hand against Mike in my life.
Story checks out.
He's raised literally every button.
No surprise the money got in here. So far, so good for Mike. Scott Seaver needs a jack.
With a 3-bet here and a 4-bet there. Here a shove, there a snap, everywhere a shove, snap.
I'm so not greedy. I will take a 5 here.
Begging for a chop, chop.
Scott Seaver now drawing to 1 out.
Can't beat him in a hand ever.
The Jack of Hearts will make the nut flush for old McDonald.
So Mike McDonald doubles up. What, you haven't got a rhyme for that?
Nope.
That's pretty sick cooler.
Yeah, I was just telling him, like, it's nothing you could ever do.
If I have like 9s, I'm like jamming for value. Like.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, no shit.
So that double up, Mike McDonald now has close to the tournament average.
My biggest win came when I was 18 years old. I won the EPT event in Dortmund, Germany for, I think, 1.4 million. I was the youngest person to win any major tournament, and it took quite a while before it sunk in.
How do you feel?
I feel pretty good. It would still be a couple of years before I could even play in the States, so I was doing well in a lot of these tournaments in Europe while not even being able to play on my own continent. The following year in Dortmund, I made it down to the final table. There was so much media, they always build up the idea of someone winning 2 EPTs, especially the idea of winning 2 EPTs back-to-back when you're only 19.
Let's see the flop.
I believe I was like chip leader for a bunch of the final table, and then just lost 2 giant coin flips and was out in 5th. That was the most devastated I've ever been by poker, by like 1,000%.
Last year's winner, this year 5th place.
I very quickly changed my opinion and realized, like, hey, this is a sweet win. It's great to be able to make the final table of any major tournament like that. In these like really high buy-in events, the poker community is fairly tight-knit. Although we all want to win the tournament, we're still like joking around.
Can I borrow the shark?
All right.
Hey!
Kind of getting each other's heads a little bit.
That just cost you right there.
Scott would like comment on the size of my biceps or something when I was in a pot.
I'm sure he's huge there.
For Daniel Negreanu was calling me sexy, that's sometimes tough to keep your composure.
But wait, what? Wait, what?
There was a lot of joking going on at the table, and it's tough not to crack a smile sometimes.
That is the most complicated math problem I've ever seen, but I'm pretty sure the answer is x equals pi.
Blinds going up. Now playing 6,000, 12,000 with a 2K ante. Action on the feature table will be on Jonathan Duhamel. Olmuck. Umberto Brenes.
And unless that's another 9 back there, Umberto won't be playing. He's tighter than Hardigan when it's his turn to buy a round.
To steal your line, story checks out. It is another 9.
Yeah, Umberto, get that shark all situated before you decide what you're going to do. Priorities.
He's going to raise.
Raise.
32,000. Ace Jack on the button for Mike McDonald.
Should be an easy call in position. Don't necessarily want to 3-bet someone as tight as Umberto.
Scott Seaver in the small blind has King Queen. He calls as well.
Also a pretty easy call.
Daniel gives up the big blind. We go 3-way to the flop.
You can do it.
Who's he talking to? Timex? Scott? The dealer? The Chark?
All spades, king high.
Scott flops the best hand, but Mike's flopped the best draw. Umberto also has a spade draw, but it's way not good.
Both Scott and Umberto have checked.
Umberto's given up the betting lead, probably done with this hand. Mike's in a great spot to semi-bluff this board with what will sometimes be the best hand already, especially once Umberto's checked.
With that nut flush draw, he makes it 44,000. Scott Seaver moves all in.
Yeah, I don't see how Scott can fold. Way too easy for Mike to be doing what he's doing. Umberto's Chark must be hungry for TV time because there is almost no decision here.
My God.
I call.
He folds. Mike McDonald calls.
That ace jack with the ace of spades.
These two are basically flipping.
Scott's ahead, but he has to dodge 11 cards twice.
Umberto, you want to call too?
I wish he did. Did, of course. Of course I wanted him to call. He's got the ace of spades. It's free money. Yeah, which is a free money hand here.
The turn is a jack.
Mike McDonald picks up one more out.
Scott now a 71% favorite to double up though.
That's so fun. But he didn't have it. He'd be upset here.
The river is a blank.
It's 240.
Scott Seaver and Mike McDonald take turns doubling up on each other.
Do you push it in free?
Nah, I don't.
I don't do that.
I mean, I know a lot of guys would.
A lot of guys do. That's what I'm saying. I don't.
It's not my style.
Yeah, me neither.
And I'm cool with how I play.
Yeah, same. Exactly.
I learned something over the last couple
You gotta
years
be confident in yourself. You have to be comfortable in yourself.
I've learned a lot about, what the online guys do, but I've also realized that what makes me, you unique is some things that you do differently, and it's totally okay. And I do things a little differently, and I'm okay with that.
Exactly.
What is with these two? Get a room!
Welcome back to the Bahamas for the PokerStars.com Caribbean Adventure Super High Roller. So far we've seen Eric Seidel hit the rail, failing to extend his lead at the top of the all-time money list, and opening the door for Kid Poker to catch up on it. On the outer table, the reigning PCA main event champion Galen Hall has had a hard time competing with tournament chip leader Isaac Axton.
I've been basically up and down, playing a lot of medium-sized pots, running a couple plus successfully, and then mostly just getting like owned by Ike Axton like once every 7 or 8 hands, so that kind of sucks. I would have paid $35,000 to switch seats with you at the beginning of the day.
We could have arranged that. I think I might have been on board.
I don't really have like a super specific plan. Everybody at the tables are really good. Hopefully I can try not to continue to get owned by Ike.
Well, that's what they're all playing for.
So the 1.2 million is inside the trophy?
Yes, Joe, in uncut diamonds and barra bucks.
Love it.
There's an all-in on the outer table. It's David Sands who's shoved for his last 287,000 with pocket eights. And he's been called by Victor Blom with ace-queen.
It's a race.
Victor has the queen of diamonds in his hands, has 14 outs.
Really bad flop for Doc. Victor's got over a quarter of the deck as outs twice.
The turn doesn't help Blom, so Doc Sands will double up unless it's an ace, a queen, or a diamond on the river. Well, how about the ace of diamonds?
Victor Blom is running so hot in this tournament that he hit 2 of his outs on the river.
So David Sands is eliminated in 11th place.
That getup on Victor looks like a futuristic blind monk who plays by sense of smell.
Isildur now playing 1.2 million.
Victor Blom is, this is like first shot at winning a title. And I've heard from my friends that he's been playing this tournament so far like very well. He's surprised people that he's not like blowing up or anything. Everyone knows him as this internet player who's obviously like super aggressive and plays anyone and just fearless. And from personal experience, I've played with him, and I think he's a great player. And I played Daniel Negreanu last year, heads up for the title, and it would be kind of cool to see like a rematch of their Superstar Showdown from a couple of months ago. So it'd be cool.
He's third on the leaderboard. Haxton, the tournament chip leader. Negreanu with the chip lead at our feature table. Action's been folded around to the blind. Scott Sievert in the small has ace-3.
I know.
And he limps. Negreanu with king-10.
Blind versus blind action. Now these two bosom buddies are going to have to play a pot against each other.
Daniels raised it, made it 42,000 total.
Scott knows that Daniel's likely to make this raise with a pretty wide range. His ace is well ahead of that range. Much better for him to 3-bet than to just call here.
Well, Scott has pulled back his original bet, and he will re-raise. He 3-bets to 128,000.
So sick. I didn't mean to make it 42. I meant to make it 32. So I lost 10,000 extra. And I have a good hand, too. Take it. I really meant to make it 32. Yeah, that had me beat, because I had the king.
That's what I'm saying.
I had a king and a high card. King 10.
You're in what I'll say is a spot of trouble. A lot of trouble.
Oh, no.
I think Scott is selling a spot of bull. A lot of bull.
Let's head back to the outer table, where there's another all-in. Dan Shack has shoved the turn. He's been called by Sam Stein. Dan is ahead with queens. Sam Stein can eliminate Shack with an ace or a 10 on the river. And that fifth community card is a 4, so Dan Shack does get the double up through Sam Stein.
Welcome change for Dan, I'm sure, as I bet he's more used to ladies taking him for half rather than doubling his worth.
Dan now playing close to 900,000.
$10 says Sam Stein's so depressed he's listening to Adele right now. He's got fewer than 3 big blinds left.
16,000 is a call now, guys. 16.
On to the next hand. And Sam's kind of committed. He's been forced to post in the small blind. Action's been folded to Dan Shack. Still stacking chips from that last hand.
When the chips aren't even in your stack yet, it's like you're raising for free.
He makes it 40,000. Victor Blom on the button.
116 total.
Well, 3-bet and make it 116,000. Sam Stein all in.
Looks like he's going to have the chance to triple up.
Dan Shack makes the call.
Side action will remain between Dan Shack and Victor Blom.
Sam Stein playing for the 91,000 main pot. An ace-jack-7 flop. Dan Shack checks. Victor had the betting lead pre-flop. Looks like he'll continue here. He makes it 95,000.
Things aren't looking so hot for Sammy. Time to queue up someone like you.
Raise to 300.
Dan Shack check raises to 300,000.
Things are looking real bad for Sam now.
Decision back on Victor Blom.
What's your vector, Victor? I think Victor just tried to check.
He lets it go, so Dan will win the side pot.
One out. That's pretty unlucky. At least he's got an out.
Only the Queen of Diamonds will save Sam Stein. Have to say, pocket queens have not been good to him. He just lost 2 of them, and now he's about to lose with them.
All right, Sam, take care.
Sam Stein finishes in 10th place. We're down to 9 players. We are 1 away from the final table in the Super High Roller event.
It's the end of the line for Sam Stein.
Back on our feature table, we're only going to see Daniel Negreanu's hole cards here.
It's like a little secret between us and Daniel. Shh.
We're sweating with Kid Poker. So he's got pocket 7s. Early position.
27.
Although it is a short-handed table. He's raising, makes it 27,000. Looks like he's going to get action from fellow Canadian Jonathan Duhamel. The former world champion raising to 68,000.
Last time we saw Jonathan re-raise, he had 2 jacks, but I don't think you can make a habit of laying down pairs to 3-bets.
Considering he's out of position, is Daniel likely to 4-bet with the 7s?
I don't think so, because if he gets 5-bet, it kind of leaves him in no man's land.
He does elect to call. We go to the flop. 164,000 in the middle. The flop is Queen, Queen 4 with 2 hearts.
My guess is that Daniel might not hate his hand, but he'll check to the razor. In general, the odds of Jonathan hitting this flop aren't all that great, and one would expect him to fire here no matter what.
Makes it 63,000.
It's a fairly small bet. Daniel's beating all bluffs, and if Jonathan happens to have a queen, Daniel's got ridiculous implied odds if he hits a 7.
So he makes the call.
A lot of times a call in that spot will just shut your opponent down if he's got nothing, get you a free river card.
6 of spades on the turn. Can't imagine that's changed anything.
The board did not get any worse for 2 7s. So now's when Jonathan will check and we'll get that free river card. No, wait, Jonathan, what are you doing? We wanted a free river card.
Maybe he's got something, because he's double barreling. He's made it 167,000 on the turn.
Now that bet just got scary, and I'd say Jonathan is fairly polarized at this point. The problem with calling here is that bluff or not, Jonathan could very easily be setting up for an all-in on the river. Daniel's got a lot of chips and might not want to risk all of them in a marginal spot like this.
He does call.
Yep, Daniel calls more often than a telemarketer.
3 of clubs on the river.
Hope he's prepared to call again.
He checks. And Duhamel checks behind.
Last aggressor, right? Tree.
Jonathan fired 2 barrels but lost his nerve on the 3rd.
He had slim showdown value.
3 hearts you showed? 2 diamonds.
Daniel's rep as a calling station really helped him out there.
He adds more than 300k to his stack and looks set to make the Super High Roller final table once again.
I'm surprised that tweet doesn't say, I just stationed the pants off the world champ. Hashtag unbluffable.
9 players remaining and 4 will leave empty-handed, with the prize money divided between the final 5. On the outer table, it's Haxton v Hall, round 78. All previous 77 rounds have gone Isaac Haxton's way. So 55,000 apiece on the flop. Galen Hall checks the turn, and Ike checks behind. The river, the 4 of clubs.
Fairly wet board.
Action is on Galen Hall.
And it looks like he's going to lead the river.
Confusingly, the betting line is not enforced, so those chips aren't in play yet. Now they are.
How much is that? I don't think so. That looks like
more than 162.
It is.
257.
257?
Yep.
I thought you had
257,000.
I call.
Axton makes the call.
Flush.
Yep.
So Haxton loses a big pot to Galen Hall. He's been crushing this tournament, but Ike is no longer the chip leader. In fact, after winning that pot, Galen Hall has moved above Haxton on the leaderboard. Incredibly, Ike is 6th overall. Daniel Negreanu, the chip leader, and on course to make the final table of the PCA Super High Roller for the 2nd year in a row. Well, back to our outer table. Victor Blom's folded under the gun. Action on Galen Hall. He opens with a raise to 35,000.
These two again.
A 3-bet from Ike Haxton.
These guys keep playing all these pots together. Ike might have to change his last name to Oates.
Danchak's given up the big blind. Action back on Galen. He moves all in. An insta-call from Ike, and he's got Galen dominated.
Whoa, oh, here they come. Ike holding over Galen yet again.
Although Haxton is at risk for the first time in this tournament. And the flop has a jack on it. Galen Hall takes the lead, and would you believe it, the former tournament chip leader's on the verge of elimination.
I'm feeling good about this one.
Power of positive thinking.
Still like my chances.
Ike Haxton needs an ace or a queen on the river. He has 7 outs. We lose the man who has controlled this tournament from the middle of day 1.
How the mighty have fallen. Started the day as the chip leader.
You left me for 2 days straight.
Now floating away as the final table bubble boy.
It looked like he was guaranteed a spot in the final 8, but he's our 9th place finisher. And with Ike Haxton's surprise elimination, the final table is set.
And remember, they may have made the final table, but these guys haven't even cashed yet.
Galen Hall lost almost every round to Ike Haxton, but then delivered the knockout punch. He comes into the final as chip leader. Negreanu and Brenes back at this final table for the 2nd year in a row, but Brenes is one of the 2 short stacks.
Mike McDonald happy to make the final table, but it'll be an uphill battle for Timex starting tomorrow with only 23 big blinds. The D-Negs grind continues. I'm pretty sure I saw the D-Negs grind in the club at Atlantis last year. It wasn't pretty. Galen Hall, open BT, Ike 3B, small, I jam 37, BB, EFF.
Is this even English?
Yeah, this seems unnecessarily long. All it needs to say is, busted Ike, huge suck out, new boss. Hashtag, the end.
Next time, our final 8 will battle it out for the title and the $1.25 million first prize. Kid Poker is hoping for redemption.
Just to make the final table was a feat in itself, and I'm looking forward to, just getting that 1 spot ahead of last year.
Reigning main event champion Galen Hall attempts to add to his PCA silverware collection.
How badly do you want to see?
I know what you have. I don't need to see him.
But online sensation Victor Isildur Blom is in a great position to take down his first major title.